Yo, what's going on? Now, about doing that whole Minecraft series, I lied. I'm just gonna do whatever I want now. And I've been doing some reading recently, as I usually do. And I read a bit of Steel Ball Run. I was gonna start with like the first uh like part one and then work my way up. But I mean, I already knew all that happened because the anime. I just couldn't sit through it, so I just skipped straight to part seven instead. I am in the middle of reading part eight. Maybe I'll talk about that one too. Guess we'll have to find out if I feel like it or not. But I decided I felt like talking about my thoughts on Steel Ball Run, like that hasn't been done before. So Steel Ball Run. First of all, the art is just incredible in it. There's a lot of like, it's not just high quality. I feel like it's just explores different things too. It's a very unique art style. That's just JoJo's in general though. You can't really go wrong with the JoJo's art style. And his first part one, Phantom Blood, was a little rough, but I saw the vision. Now you might be wondering why I'm in MS Paint and not pulling up actual stuff. It's because I don't want to edit, and yeah, that's it. So starts off. I think the first thing to talk about is Johnny, kind of the parallels with him and Jonathan from part one, since they're supposed to be pretty much the equivalent of each other, just from alternate universes. Um, and I think they are. It's hard to find similarities. I'd say they are pretty much very completely different people. With Jonathan having a more noble and chivalrous heart, and not really willing to kill anyone, even when it was Dio, the man who killed his father. But Johnny was a lot different. He wasn't really the best of people, even before the story began in his backstory, being this conceited prodigy of horseback riding. And he, obviously didn't grow up as too great of a person and ended up being shot in the back because of it and crippled. Did I mention spoilers, by the way? Hopefully you already knew that. And he, he's shown to be very more willing to kill somebody. He's doing whatever it takes to get his legs back to be able to walk again. And one quote I actually, or I guess not quote, I don't know if I know the quote exactly, but just him being in the negative and trying to get to zero, I think was really interesting. And that actually, that whole thing, man, the stand too, we'll get to that. I should probably do this in the chronological order. The manga starts out, it actually, we see Sandman first. That's the very first character we see. And he's definitely an interesting character, although definitely didn't get to see him a whole lot. Um, but I think considering what they do with him in the kind of mid half of it, I do think it's a good decision for the anime to not make him the first scene, because it put a lot of false expectations on him, I feel like. Because it made me feel like he was going to be either this major villain or maybe a major supporting role, something like Speedwagon. And it made him a really unique character and hinting at like a sand type stand, which was, later didn't happen. But running as well and not going on horseback, he had a motivation for wanting to win this race and a real reason. It He seemed like a pretty important character, and so getting to that part which it's revealed that he was working for Valentine's, which I will say was a pretty insane plot twist. I never saw that coming at all. Um, but his stand was also cool, revealing that it was Sound Man instead of Sandman. But it just he just died. they fought him like he was a normal villain and he died, and that's all they ever touched on with them. Sorry, I took a drink there. And it was actually eh, I think it wouldn't have been as disappointing if he wasn't the first character you'd see in the part. I haven't drawn anything. I just don't really know what I want to draw yet. Um, yeah, it was really disappointing. I think. I think the anime deciding to not make him the first character you see is definitely a good idea though for it, because the plot twist was really like holy craziest, no joke, the craziest plot twist I've ever seen. Um, but after him, they introduced Gyro Zeppeli next, which I think is obviously the counter of just Zeppeli. Did we know his first name? I don't really remember. And he was definitely a way more in-depth character. His character was a lot more explored, and I know he is probably a lot of people's favorite character from it. Because man, I do wish maybe you get to see a little bit more of his stand, but I do understand the choice of making it to, his stand being more of a one-time appearance and not a his new main power, because his main focus was Spin in the process of Spin being able to become strong enough to just be the equivalent of a stand. And I think there was a one chapter where it explained how stuff like Hamon and Spin, and I think maybe the Vampire Mask, were just attempts to materialize a true stand and were progress towards that. And then, the stand arrows came and made actual stands. But part one of Steel Ball Run, the stage one of the race, which I think the anime will cover in just its first episode with 40, 50 minutes maybe. There was a lot in it. I'm surprised they can fit it all in there. But it introduced a lot of characters. The guy, 1 in 50 million luck. They focused on him a lot, but he was just kind of there. He was never really a major character, I'd say. But then seeing Dio again as Diego was interesting. I do really like what they did with his character. Um, Being run over by a train was a little crazy, but I don't think it was like a horrible death. I mean, it was just a little bit. Oh, yeah, he's dead. You know, it's kind of lost. But here, what do I draw here? Draw a little train track. Oh wait, did I get better at drawing? Oh no, I didn't. Think am I gonna draw Dio's dead body? Anyways, so yeah, I introduced all these characters. It was a good first stage overall. Seeing Gyro Zeppeli get the first lead, showing that like, yeah, this dude's pretty insane. But Sandman also keeping up with him, and then eventually getting the automatic first place because of Gyro interfering with the steel balls. Um, and it did make me think at first, but that the race would be closely monitored because of that. But that was nothing, like none of the sort. They did not care at all. Many people died. And the guy with the lasso, don't remember his name. I know he was one of like the three major people that were contestants to win. Was it three? It's probably three. And he has the stand where he's able to like sort of merge. It's kind of hard to explain. Maybe this is what I could draw. He can kind of like merge with his lasso, sort of. Lasso would stretch out, and his sort of body would be able to come out of different parts of it. That is a really cool stand. Just like being able to like his finger, one finger being here, then another finger, maybe like the rest of his hand over here, and then he'd have maybe his elbow over here. I know it's not good at explaining, but the improvement from like the complexity and uniqueness of stands was vastly different from say part 3. I think part 3 wrote itself in a sort of a wall with stands because the powers were just very limited. Magician's Red controls fire and that's it. Star Platinum punches and inhales and stretches his finger. I don't really know what he does. Hierophant Green had a pretty diverse moveset, but it was still sort of limited to one goal. and then Silver Chariot just had a sword. And so these stands, seeing a lot less humanoid stand as well, but them still being very useful because before non-humanoid stands were just relatively weak, and seeing these ones, and coming in from I had just seen part three, I think, the anime. Not the entirety of it. I was just kind of skimmed through it. I think I was watching a reactor because I was bored. But it, it's coming from part four where all the non-humanoid stands were just kind of not important at all, and now seeing these, like, man, especially that one. I know there was a lot of edits of the one guy who like walked on rain. Was it Catch the Rainbow was his stand name? It might have been. Man, that was a cool one. And no, I guess that's it. So after that stage one, Johnny proves to Gyro that he's able to compete and does, he used some sort of spin earlier to get onto the horse, and that was his first stage of learning it, and a goal to get back his legs, because the spin, made his legs move. That's his whole motivation for it. I'm not really explaining this very well. I'm just kind of hoping, you'd seen it too. Um, so if you wanted like an actual explanation of what happened, it's probably not a good place to be. But after the first stage, they go into a much longer stage. There's not much surveillance, and it had also shown earlier the guy with this lasso stand had found three people dead by in unknown means. His stand isn't shown yet either. The concept of stands doesn't even exist. It's really only spin right now. That's known to Johnny. Um, but they're in the desert. They decide to rest for a bit and see a dude walking up. He's been poisoned, yada yada, and they give him something to help out the poison. But then they see two people on horseback racing towards them, so they decide to dip out of there. And I wouldn't stick around there either. And so, but the guy's blood gets on Johnny, I think, and it's when they start using their stand. Now, I'm gonna be honest, this stand, the general premise for how it worked made sense, but there were three people, and it was like all three of them. Yeah, I didn't know whose stand it was, or if it was all of their stands. I didn't think that was a thing. It was a little odd, but it was a cool stand nonetheless. Being able to attract metal into a centralized point was very interesting, and Johnny and Gyro still didn't know the concept of stands at this point. This is just some unknown force to them. Um, and then the guy with the lasso coming in and ended up saving them. Or well, he was hunting them down because they. Oh, was that another stand too? Because I remember they turned into Johnny, and then made him think that Johnny was the one who killed the people because he was tracking their tracks. How did they turn into Johnny though? Was that another stand? Maybe I just don't know how to read. I beats me, man. But either way, I think they killed all of them actually, and they managed to get out of there. Um, I might actually. No, I would think it's fine. So, my memory from stuff on that point was a bit blurry. I know there was the one with the mines. That was a pretty interesting stand where it had sort of clock-like mines like this that would have to be held down. Like they'd show up attached onto something, and if this button or whatever wasn't continuously being held down, then it would explode. Lasso guy ended up getting caught in it, I think, but because he was able to like take apart his body with the lasso, he was able to sort of put himself back together. I thought he died though for a second there, so I was like, I don't know. I mean, didn't really get too attached to him. Glad he didn't die though. He did. He was still a cool character. And then I'm not really sure when Johnny awakens it. I know it was from when he found the corpse part, which, by the way, the corpse parts were a really cool idea. Being able to introduce stands. I talked about that when I get there, or when I remember getting there. And he unlocks Tusk Act 4. Sure. it's got a little head up here and a little, yeah, you can recognize that, right? Does it have some blue in it? Little star. Uh, yeah, that's fine. So, Tusk. I'm just gonna go ahead and cover all of Tusk since I might forget about it later, and I don't really entirely. I remember when he awakens, like the next parts of Tusk, but I don't know. I think it's easier to talk about it here. Tusk Act 1. It's this first stage right here, being able to shoot off just nails. He was just able to shoot off his nails with spin. Now, I'm not entirely sure if Tusk was also doing the spin part or if that was just Gyro's technique along with it, and Tusk was just shooting off nails. I think the stand is a manifestation of spin in a sort of way, though. And, the only time you've seen an act stand before this was Echoes, being Echoes Act 1, 2, and 3, which sort of developed with Koichi's mental because stands are manifested by mental strength and fighting spirit, and Koichi didn't quite have that. But since Josuke kept him alive, he forcefully awakened a stand as Act 1, which then grew with his mental strength becoming stronger. And I think in a sort of way, that's the same way with Johnny. Johnny was talking about being in the negative. He was in the negative. He shouldn't have been able to get a stand. He wasn't worthy. That's why, even though, like, all these other guys that have stands, they don't have a corpse part that's merged with them. They were just worthy enough to awaken a stand by just being around its general area. But Johnny wasn't able to. He wasn't worthy enough. The corpse part, though, chose him, because I believe it is able to see the future to some degree, or just sort of an all-knowing kind of creature. Um, I shouldn't say creature. What is it? It's Jesus, right? Sort of all-knowing thing, and it's really interesting going through as well because in multiple parts, or not multiple. I think there was one part where Johnny had the left arm taken from him and he lost Tusk. He lost his stand. He wasn't worthy enough to maintain his stand without the corpse part being merged with him. There's also at one point where the person took the spine in the left arm that he had had and just left him with a one part of the spine so he could still manifest his stand in some form because he just couldn't without that. His mental strength wasn't worthy enough to actually have a stand. Um, and I think the point where he finally gets to zero isn't Tusk Act 4, but Tusk Act 3. I think Tusk Act 3 is where he attains that zero. He's maybe not zero as like getting his legs back and being able to walk again, but zero as in his mental. He wasn't distracted by other things. You see, he talked way less about his uh, his condition, not being able to walk. He was a lot less concerned about it. He had bigger goals to worry about and things he had to focus on. He cast away all of his greedy and selfish things. I think similar to Koichi, I think they both, when they awakened Act 3, became that zero. They got back to the starting point of all these other stand users were already at mentally. And that's why I think, also Tusk Act 3 was the most like standish stand. And you can see that with Echoes as well. I think Echoes less so though. Echoes 1 was still useful, but you can see Echoes 3 is where its ability really matured into what it was. And Tusk Act 3 was similar because until then he was just using spin. Um, and something that Gyro might not have been able to do because he can't shoot out his nails. But if he had a nail, an unattached nail, he could probably spin it and shoot it off. And Tuskak 2 being the golden ratio, being able to fire focus nails that are a lot stronger and more accurate, but take longer to regenerate the nail itself. But Tuskak 3 had a power that really felt like a stand of the wormholes, um, where it was able to shoot a spot and that hole would stay there and it could move on to something and shoot again. And Johnny was also able to like shoot himself and then cause himself to spin into the hole to get away from things. That's what feels like the most standability is Act 3. Act 3 is when Johnny hit that zero and was out of the negative. But obviously, unlike Koichi, Johnny, he wasn't able to stop there. He still had to fight the battles. Steel Ball Run wasn't over. He hadn't quite obtained that spin that let him walk yet, which he was still working towards. But I think his more major goal was going against Funny Valentine, who had been manipulating all the people until now to fight for him, ultimately causing their deaths, all in the name of obtaining the corpse part. And Funny Valentine, now that I mentioned him. I'll mention Tusk Act 4, what I think about that after Funny Valentine, since, it kind of happens afterwards. But Funny Valentine was a very interesting villain. His motives, I think, at least to me, were a little less clear, maybe. Um, Diablo wanted to become the strongest, I think. Not entirely, it's been a while, I might not be able to remember. Kira just wanting a peaceful life, but ultimately just killing people. Um, he his motives weren't even really what the sorry about that, and they weren't even really known until he himself explained it after getting the entirety of the corpse. The merged corpse being a thing that's able to redirect all of its owner's misfortunes onto somebody else from like on the other side of the world and bringing only good fortune and good luck to him. And Funny Valentine used that D4C love train and being able to just not be harmed at all. D4C as well being a cool stand. I remember, read it at first, didn't make any sense, and then, it kind of made sense. Yeah, I don't think there's really ever fully understanding D4C until, I do know there's some videos actually explaining how it works, which I can try to give it a shot maybe. Um, Essentially just Funny Valentine. We'll draw him here. Look at this, guys. Isn't this how the One Punch Man creator draws Tatsumaki, was it? Yeah, look at this, guys. Wowie. Alright. Get his face like there. Yeah, that works. And he's got the rest of them all in pink there. Yeah, that's not that bad. D4C. Draw a little representation of him here. I decided I should, at least do some sort of drawing for this. Oh, maybe I'll get better as drawing as this goes on. Who knows? Do the same sort of body for him. D4C's ability is to essentially go through different dimensions. And I don't think D4C's ability was actually explained in its entirety for quite a while. Is this what it looked like? Sure. Um, At first, it was just Funny Valentine being smushed in between two objects. For example, the floor or an American flag that was seen used a lot. Or two horses could have worked as well. Or a wall and another person, I believe, could also work. I don't think he quite used that one. I think he did something similar. Um, and the first introduction of D4C and Funny Valentine was when Johnny was shot, and it was not clear who. Um, Passerbys, some said it was Diego, some said it was, um, wow, I don't remember his name. The other guy that you spin with the orange ball, a cool character as well. Some say it was him, Wekapico, maybe. And then one man said it was Funny Valentine, which everyone else said, there's no way, that's our president. Don't slander him. And obviously, it was pretty confusing. And it was sort of explained when I believe they were showing what happened. But even when you were shown the entirety of events from what Diego and Wakapiko saw, they didn't entirely know, but it was D4C. D4C had sort of brought a Diego and a Wikapiko from two different places, and he had made it so that, for example, let's put it like this. So, Funny Valentine's here. We'll say Diego is laying down over here. Obviously, he can't walk. Bummer. Womp womp. And he's got his little hair tufts, and he is sitting here spying on. I believe he was watching Diego. And Wakapigo was following him, and then Gyro was also standing at another point, and Funny Valentine started to approach Gyro. Um, and then all of a sudden he turned around and was shot. From Diego's point of view, he had walked up. He had saw, I believe, he had seen Wakapiko. Maybe it's no, no, no. I might have to. Do I have to find this? Here, I can. I don't think I pulled this up in a while. Um, funny that. Can I just funny Valentine? Man, this is probably just horrible, huh? Funny Valentine D4C introduction panels. Let's just find that, huh? 30 Deeds Dungeon Jeep. Can the wiki bring me it? Who knows, man? Does it got panels? Boom. Look at that. So, D4C had, I don't know when that was, but it also merged into the flag and stuff. Oh, hmm. Sorry, I'm not the most focused person. You might have figured that out. Let's go to images, maybe. Maybe I can find the panel. Look at all this. D4C fan art? Looks pretty good. From the manga right there. I think I read the colored manga. I haven't seen it uncolored. I've heard that the uncolored manga was kind of hard to follow on what was going on. There's D4C Love Train. Show that to you there. What the? You can do that? Huh. But yeah, it's essentially this line here. It's kind of just showing it. This line is connecting with the corpse, which had merged into. Don't know her name. Knew she was underage though. That was weird. Weird as hell. Um, it emerged with some major character, and this line sort of connects him and the corpse as it redirects all misfortunes. Very cool art. And then here's D4C Love. I guess this is D4C Love Train, how it's supposed to look, or maybe that's it after it was broken. Because you see D4C is here with the Love Train. I'm not really sure what this style decision was. Quick drink. But I this one's worse. So that's pretty much it. This one's a lot better. And there's him fat, obviously. And yeah, obviously, right? So he's able to swap with his other selves. Not necessarily. D4C is able to transfer itself to an alternate version of Funny Valentine, in which case it will transfer over his stand powers and all of his memories of what was going on to that person, which he can then go back into the original universe, which is the only universe that has the corpse part, since it is one of a kind, and all the other ones are like fighting for diamonds or something instead of the corpse parts. Um, and there can only ever be one D4C at a time. This Funny Valentine is the only one D4C to um, be in his universe. So somebody else with D4C cannot enter at the same time this D4C is there, because there's never two D4Cs ever. There's only ever one. Um, and Funny Valentine is the only one who's able to meet with his other self, since if anybody else comes in contact with their alternate universe and self, they will just blow up and explode and die, like poor Wakapico, as Diego sacrificed him. Oh, that might have been loud. I don't know. Is that an alternate coloring? I like the pink better, definitely. Some more fan art. Look at this, guys. Was that Spin? Did Spin do that to him? So yeah, this is D4C broken down here. You can see it kind of happening there. I guess it's sort of in the same way that Golden Experience Requiem was done, where it sort of broke out of its shell, and Echoes did a very similar thing as well. Tuska didn't do it. Maybe that's sort of was it was where it broke down, and that's D4C Love Train, or maybe this is sort of just it being broken. You can see the right side of his face being, his entire face in general is cooked. I don't really know. Started to give up on trying to review this in chronological order. Aura? Hmm. Uh, do I just keep scrolling until I find it, or do I cut my losses? I don't think I'm gonna find it. Look at this here. Maybe I'll just look at random panels. I'll look at random panels and talk about it. Because apparently I just can't focus on one thing. So let's just do that. Steel Ball Run panels. Man, viewer retention is gonna be at an all-time low. I don't know how low it's been actually. Diego the World. Holy. I think the choice to bring in an alternate version of Diego to then show the world was interesting. Um, I suppose this is because Diego obviously isn't a vampire. His original stand was Scary Monsters, which I also didn't quite understand because Scary Monsters was originally somebody else's stand that they were able to become a dinosaur and infect other living creatures into dinosaurs like humans, and they had infected Diego into a dinosaur. But when Diego obtained the, I believe, left eye, instead of awakening his own stand, he just retained scary monsters. And I think that could be, in a way, similar to Tusk, how he isn't able to really form his own stand. He's not worthy. He's not worthy of a stand, which I don't see why not. He seemed to have the mental strength. Maybe it was just a design choice. Not entirely sure. Yeah, because I guess him not being at the zero doesn't make sense. He did seem to have a very strong mentality. Here's the anime designs. I know a lot of people were talking about the coloring, how they didn't quite agree with the coloring. I think these are like sort of alternate colors. As you can see, the main color here, Johnny, is sort of blue, which is very focused blue. It's a horseshoe, not a star. Oh, okay. And they decided to go with this white here. Mainly white with blue stars. A lot more colors in it. No pink at all, but this sort of representing an American flag. And he's got the hearts here. Hearts were a pretty big thing in most JoJo characters' designs. I know Giorno had the one. I think, did Josuke have one? Let's find out. That's just Amazon. Maybe, okay, I guess we never know. It's Koichi. Check him out. And then you can sort of see Gyro here. I think Gyro has the same sort of color design, just a lot less um, detail. I think it was. He had a lot less detail. You can see in here his sort of outfit. And you can see in this one, there's a bit of an orange instead of a blue, which I think I like a little bit more. And he has just a lot less design in this overall shirt here, and I think definitely in the pants. You can see his hat as well. His hat is really cool. Holy. His hat's pretty much the same though. Viewer retention is losing. So, Tusk Act 4. I wish I could see this colored. Show you guys a colored version of it. This is still a really good drawing though. The reveal of Tusk Act 4 is a really cool pose using the infinite rotation with the horse kicking him, flying up, and then Tusk Act 4 awakening. Um, Now, the infinite spin made sense, but he wasn't able to actually activate Tusk Act 4 unless he was on a horse. And I think that is interesting. If the if the manga would have kept going on beside, like after that, when he wasn't on a horse, it wouldn't have made sense, which is why, that ended right after that. I think, yeah, and really, he only ever showed Tuskegee 3 one time, now that I think about it. He really only, you only ever see it once, and then he just goes back to Tuskegee 2. And I guess that means that Tuskegee 3 has a similar condition as Tuskegee 4, or what I said before with him attaining that zero. Maybe he only attained that zero. Maybe I shouldn't hover over that. Maybe he didn't actually attain that zero afterwards. It was a one moment thing, dark determination. Maybe that was what was keeping him going. And, once he didn't have that anymore, he realized his goal of needing legs again, and in his mind wasn't no longer at zero. And so he no longer had Tuskegee 2. There were still parts where he used Tuskegee 3's abilities, though, just without showing the actual stand. So a bit complicated. I'm not entirely sure how it works. Oh, this was cool. Sort of snow area where they went to go find the right arm and ears, I believe it was, with that whole thing. I'm glad it's censored. I know there's one image. Uh, okay, I don't know. I remember what that panel was, but yikes, bro. Man, trying to explain that to someone with no context, I'd rather kill myself. There's another nice panel here. What part was this on? He's using two steel balls. I don't think it's stage one. Might have been stage one. It's kind of hard to tell. There's a lot of parts that could have been from. What is this? Dear Lord. Do you foresee breaking his back? He's already crippled. Whew, here we go. Look at that, man. Holy. The stars on his skin as well are just, man. The design in its entirety is amazing. It has the same horseshoe on its, on the head there. It's got it's a very large symbolism of stars. Man, just such a cool design. I also really love some of these panel covers. This one kind of made my eyes hurt when I first saw it. That was alright, it was fine though. I had to deal with it. Oh yeah, this was when he gave him Sandman, which at first, Sandman, right? It shows that the person's ability is to manifest the letters of effects like smash or burn, and whatever it touches would then be produced with that effect. Burn would set something on fire, smash would crush something, in a way very similar to Echo's, I think, 1, maybe 2. Um, but what stood out to me is that it was in Japanese letters. Now, obviously, it's a Japanese manga, and it makes sense. But in my mind, when they had just introduced a character that was supposedly Japanese, I'm like, holy, it's got to be that guy. And Diego talked about it too. He's like, I can't believe I was just drinking water with this guy. I'm like, holy, it's got to be that guy, Higashikata, who had the same last name as Josuke from Part 4. I was like, man, okay, that's interesting. I guess he's going to be a villain. And you see they start getting attacked by the stand, but somebody's approaching it, somebody else, somebody that I think was in a general fourth, maybe fifth place, achieved high in the placings, but just wasn't really an important character whatsoever. But known enough to where you'd probably recognize his name when you see it, not what he looks like. I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess it's that guy instead. But no, he dies to the effects of the stand, and the stand keeps going. So holy, it has to be a Gashkata then. But no, a Gashkata was seen in the grass, kind of just watching from a distance. So you think it might be him. They shoot at him. Nothing happens. Keeps going. And then Sandman appears. Now, I don't know if I was just a dumbass or what, but when Sandman appeared, I was like, oh, he's gonna help them. Holy. And even when he's talking with them, I guess I just can't read or something. But I read it as like a, oh, he's just gonna take advantage of this. It's like, oh, I'll take I'll take what I don't know if he took something, but I was like, oh, I'll take advantage of this. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess he's gonna, he wants to win the race. He's gonna take advantage of this and uh, maybe get rid of both sides, Johnny and Gyro and the person attacking. I guess I genuinely am just a moron because he started attacking a bit later. I'm like, holy, a Sandman. Would never have seen that coming. Here's the opening panel here. Man, this showing the steel ball, him having more sort of commanding presence with a steel ball and a gun holster than a guy with a gun. Man. Yeah, then the world. Time to stop. 5 seconds left. Um, wasn't it like the world high voltage? Or maybe this, I think it was the world high voltage. Something was high voltage. It wasn't really that important of stand. I mean, for hell's sake, the person that merged with the corpse, um, had killed him. Like she was the one that killed him. Johnny didn't even do it. Johnny lost. He got his ass beat. Not really his ass beat, but he never seen time stop before. I think Tuskegee 4 was able to move in time stop because if an infinite spin couldn't be stopped, even when time was stopped. Crazy. Spin over time. But in the end, he still wasn't really able to win. Holy, look at this. The spine and the left hand. Man, this art is just insane, bro. I remember seeing that video why what was it? JoJo's Bizarre Adventure art displayed in museums or like art critics obsessed with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure art. It was a video along that line. I can see why, bro. This is whew, man, alternate coloring. I do definitely like the gold better. I mean the alternate coloring though in general, like especially I don't think it really swapped that much in the middle of the manga. It was just sort of mainly for the manga covers and such. I'm interested to see what kind of color swaps they do in the anime. Here's the Catch the Rainbow, I think it was. Is that a spoiler for part 8? Yikes. Just gonna cover that up with my hand. Um, being able to walk on rain, I think it was more so solidifying rain or something along those lines. It was a very cool looking stand. Didn't see it a whole lot to be able to actually understand how it worked, but regardless, here's that dark determination panel, I believe, with the fire in its eyes. Very different. I think there are, especially the one I most remember, Jonathan in opening one having that fire in his eyes as he chases up the stairs to where Dio is. A very bright, you know, heart burning, you're determined to win. And having this one where it was more of a dark blue flame with a very calm face, a very like he was determined to win, even if you have to kill the person or sacrifice everything he had. That is very stark contrast from Jonathan, and I think really makes Johnny stand out as not just alternate universe Jonathan, but Johnny. I also saw the video about the hat here, the hat being damaged with hair coming out as a sort of like Johnny being damaged in the negative, and then in later parts of the manga, the later half, where his hair wasn't sticking out of the damaged parts anymore, and it was harder to notice because he wasn't in the zero anymore. Oh, in this panel, if your heart is wavering, do not shoot. I believe this is where he awakened Tusk Act 3. If your heart is wavering, do not shoot, you will grow once more. Shall the gates leading to a new path open for you? I don't know what he's talking about. All I know is it goes hard. If your heart is wavering, don't shoot. And then dark determination, right? His heart isn't wavering anymore. I think he shoots himself in the head after that too. Can't believe it. Jesus appears next to your ear, says if your heart is wavering, do not shoot. Shoots himself in the head. What kind of reaction is that? I guess that's when you know, he awakened Tuskegee 3. He hit that zero. He hit that dark determination. And I guess when you awaken a stand, you automatically know what sort of power it has. That seems to be sort of, maybe not. Koichi didn't have that, but Koichi had Act 1, and but it didn't really work for Act 3 either. Jotaro didn't really know. Um, Giorno doesn't know what Requiem does. I think he never knew. He never quite figured it out. It was pretty crazy. Well, I ran out of panels. Steel Ball Run anime announcement. I think that's when it was announced. Highly doubt it was released at that time. Look at some other panels here. Um, I don't really have any physical copies of the manga. This kind of reminded me of it. Although, man, for something like JoJo's, having this on just a line of cabinets would look so sick. But I'm just broke. Why the hell is he standing like that? How is he standing like that? Like, this looks unnecessary. There is no why are they both doing it? They had to separate on opposite sides of the, man, they just, for the love of the game, huh? I mean, shoot, I guess, man. Oh, dear Lord, what is that? At least get the right background on it. Am I just yapping? That's all I really know how to do. It would be better if I streamed. I feel like this sort of, whatever the heck I'm doing is better for streams. My computer is kind of struggling, though. I don't think I can do streams right now. My computer would probably kill itself. Spoilers, guys. Gyro died. Very emotional panel. Gyro is just such a good character. At the end, though, when they were like, yeah, and then, the kid got pardoned. He didn't get executed by the king, and he died from a cold a couple days later. Apparently, we just hate kids now, huh, Rocky? Look at how they did him. Oh, this guy, though. This guy, very minor villain. Showed up 3, maybe 4 chapters. Villain of the week type deal. But his stand was just so, like, interesting. It, obviously, it didn't look cool. I mean, the fishing line's coming out of his mouth, but he'd drop it into a sort of thing of water, which it would then drop down from the sky and act as a fishing line that he could fish for things and drag them back up. It's such a cool idea for an ability. It makes me think like a lot of the, anime shonen power systems that are called some of the best power systems in manga and shonen are ones where everyone has unique abilities. There is no sort of everyone runs by the same system or everyone has like the same sort of string of abilities. And I think that's sort of what medieval fantasy magic like mangas are a lot too focused into. The power system is just very bland, it's overused, and when thinking about writing a medieval fantasy like that, you're sort of like, okay, well, I guess I'll have magic in it, they'll have the fire, wind, and water, and they try to get creative with it, add a little spin. It's like, oh, well, you have to do this to use the magic, fire, wind, and water. You have to use this to do it. Now, well, in this one, you have to do this to do it. But it's just so people have thought that to have a fantasy medieval manga, you have to have this same general basis for a magic system. But why do you? Have something like this. Have JoJo's, like a sort of where everyone has a unique power system, stuff like JJK, um, Hunter x Hunter, which has the one of the best power systems ever. Um, I guess Naruto does it to an extent, and One Piece also has it with the devil fruits in a way. Bleach has it with Bankai's. All these incredibly famous mangas, their power systems are unique to the person wielding them and isn't seen among any other wielder. That's how you do a power system. No, I'm not saying, if you have a basic magic system that your manga's gonna fail. I'm not saying that. Hey, why the heck? You know what? I'm changing the title to yapping about manga and manhwa, the Korean sort of what's it called, comics. I've been reading a lot of those as well. That's kind of where my gripe with the whole fantasy, magic, same thing, yada yada. What was one I was? I don't want to. Okay, well, there's obviously Pick Me Up, manhwa. Well, I don't want to do that. Now this. Um, let me cover here. If you don't know what this is, I don't know, because I know some people, they read maybe only manga, but manhwa, what the hell? Sorry, manhwa has a lot more. I think it's easier to find manhwa than manga. There's a lot more companies publishing manhwa, I believe, and I think how most of them start is they start as light novels, and then an illustration company picks them up, while manga is usually run by just one person that writes the story and draws. And so you'll end up seeing a lot more manhwa. It's a lot, unfortunately, a lot not more diverse, though. They are, manhwa do get centered in the same sort of isekai, reverse isekai, medieval, and then, most of the time it just turns into slop. But this one, Pick Me Up. If you haven't read this, you need to. I won't spoil it. But the general premise is that he was the top player in this sort of mobile gacha game that is known to be incredibly hard. And obviously that premise was done before. But what they did a lot of the times was then to bring the game to the real world. But this one, it brought him into the game instead. And the game as well wasn't this sort of open world, do whatever you want, he makes a harem type thing. Um, it was based in levels. You would climb a tower. I can't do it enough justice just by explaining it. You have to read it yourself if you haven't. Just pick me up. You can read it wherever. I don't think it really matters. But man, this has to. This is. It doesn't. It's my favorite one right now. Um, you see, there's some other. Look at that, man. Why is it just a bunch of what is it called? Yao. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not really into the whole romance genre. It's just not quite my style. Man, look at that, bro. Uh, do people refer to as like manhwa and webtoons as two different things? Because I know someone will call something a webtoon, but then call someone else a manhwa. I don't think you can find Pick Me Up on webtoon. Webtoon sort of picks up stuff like this and then does its own translation, I think. It'll do its own translation and then release it bit by bit weekly in a way. And even though there's a lot more chapters you can find on other sites because people have already been translating it. Webtoon is very picky about what it picks up. There's not a whole lot of action on manhwa on there, which is what I'm mainly there to say. And Webtoons is definitely a lot more focused on romance, which um, I mean they have so many ads, and surely it's doing good, right? I guess people like the romance on it more. I don't want to click on just these random panels. It might spoil it. Oh, maybe this one. Okay, that's in a different language. Yeah, I'm a sort of English speaker only. Sorry. Um, yeah, there's Pick Me Up. Obviously, I can go through some of the, I guess what people call must. I guess that's a spoiler. Sorry, guys. You won't know what it is anyway. But what people call the sort of must reads in manhwa. I believe one of them was something like that. Yeah, this. I read quite a bit of this, um, and it is a very good story. Incredibly good story. Um, I did fall out in love with it though. I guess I'll get into spoilers here. I might as well. You can see this character here. It goes into an arc that is very focused on romance, and I was maybe I should have just kept reading. I was just kind of lost, I guess. The general premise of it was um, climbing a tower. It's a very common theme you see in Modern Warfare, climbing a tower. You see this one here. He has the ability to kill himself. It's pretty unique. And it's I don't know. It lost me at this arc. I just it. No, I'm not saying it became bad. It delved. It felt like it changed genres halfway through, I guess is how you could put it. And I'm not a very diverse person when it comes to reading. I don't read a bunch of different genres. I'm very mainly focused into one. Now, I will enjoy a sort of like subgenre romance. I'm just not usually a big fan when it is the main focus. That's not saying I haven't seen, any romance at all. I've seen Toradora, that counts, right? What was another one? I'm not gonna bring up solo leveling. Everybody already knows what that is. What is another sort of mono I can bring up? Ooh, Instinct. I think I was about to type Hunter. Bloodhound Regression Instinct. Huh? That's not it. Maybe? No. I think I read this one a little bit and then I kind of fell in love with it, out of love with it. Um, there's one with a very similar title. Bloodhound. Manhwa. There it is. There it is. To the Baskerville Bloodhound. This one. Whew. This is a good one. In later chapters, it's kind of losing me a little bit. It's not to the point where I'd say I've fallen out of love with it. I'm still keeping up with the story. It's just sort of like, man, what's kind of going on? I'm sort of lost, that sort of thing. This one's very good though as well. Um, I wouldn't say it's as high level quality as Pick Me Up. You're not gonna sit here reading this in Pick Me Up. I'll glaze Pick Me Up to the day I die. I'll write Pick Me Up on my tombstone. How about that? And yeah, it doesn't quite reach that sort of level. It's a very now obviously as the title is, it's a regression based manhwa where he wants to have revenge because he lived as a bloodhound, which was sort of like he served as a dog for the main clan as he was a hunting dog that was sent to do whatever. You can see the scars from the battles he fought, and then once his war was over, his fought was fought, he was executed for because there was no need to have him anymore. He was needless, worthless, and he ends up going back in time, and he decides to get revenge on the one that killed him, which was Hugo Lee Bask, or maybe just Hugo Baskerville, that man right there. And it's it's really good, especially the beginning part of it. I wouldn't even say just the beginning half. Beginning and sort of middle of what is released, and then early end. There is one part that lost me. I'm not gonna spoil it. Well, I guess it's when one person came back, and then it was a very important person in the story that was reintroduced, but then it turned out that they had died and come back to life, taken over by a demon, and then hasn't been brought up since. Do you know it? I'm a little lost. I was a little lost. I won't lie. I'm still keeping up with it. I haven't dropped it yet, but I've been getting close. I've been getting close. I won't lie. I think there was one that I'll bring up that's definitely a lot more dive dive. It dives more into the subgenre romance thing I talked about before. If I knew what it was called, there's two of them. Ooh. I think this is it. Now this one, I won't lie, it is a harem. It does have that sort of thing in it. It's not generally the main focus. It is pretty early on. I can't remember if it's hit 100 chapters yet or not. And I won't lie, I do mainly read it. It is an Aura Farm Fest. I think it is developing a pretty interesting story though. It hasn't quite gotten to the climax of what that story is focusing on. I think we still are in the very introduction part of it. Um, and the main character is also very interesting. He's definitely my favorite character by far. You'll see this one here. I think would I say main heroine? Because she's not really. It's kind of unclear who, even if there is. I'd say if there was a main heroine, it'd be her, probably. Now, this is. I wouldn't say they do it as like a sort of, oh, this person is in love with him now, and then they're all arguing about who gets to have him and stuff. He was designed to be a sort of blunt character about it, and not really no, blunt. Um, is that what it's called? Now I can't remember. Blunt? He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know somehow. And it is sort of a thing. It's kind of hard to explain it without spoiling, and I don't want to spoil it. It is something. If you are interested, you should go read. You'll see what I'm talking about, or maybe you won't, and I'm just a weirdo. Who knows? Now, I don't know what it's called. Crap. Now I just gotta. What was his name? I don't know. Crap. Manhwa about a guy who takes over the body of a background villain from his favorite game? That doesn't look right. No, no, no. This is nothing. Nothing close. Is that Manager Kim? I read a bit of that recently. Oh, shit. I haven't even gotten to him. That might be tied with my favorite mono with Pick Me Up. How did I forget? I think it's because it's been on break recently. Whew, that one is another beast. I'll talk about that. Okay, well, now we're just getting into it. I'll talk about that after I find this one I'm talking about here, which is none of these. He's blonde, though. Oh, what is this one? How did I not see this? Okay, now this is a clickbait thumbnail. Don't let this fool you, okay? Don't let this fool you. This is actually kind of just what it is. Do I have to go to the actual video to find? Hold on. Sorry
He had
about
never
this.
even
Shut the hell up. I don't like watching these sort of things. There it is. I'm just not a big fan of the sound of the voice, and I do prefer just reading it myself. What the heck? It autofilled it. Now this one is on Webtoon. I don't think it has all of the chapters though. It's not very out of date. It's not very to date on Webtoon. I'd recommend finding another site to read it on. Um, I guess you can see what this here. Put this up, and you can sort of see what sort of manhwa it is. Now this one though, it is a different premise, although very similar to the last one, this sashimi sword one, in which it's setting in an academy, and then there's a lot of girls who end up, liking him. I think it goes a lot deeper into their actual feel. Their feelings towards him feels a lot more genuine than the sashimi one. Maybe I am into the romance stuff. I just don't really know it. Because now I'm really talking about it. And he is sort of aware of it for the most part. It's just he's been thrown into this as a background villain. He was a villain who, in the credits, was shown homeless because he was the first villain ever shown this sort of like power scaling for the protagonist, and he would end up getting expelled from the school and become homeless bum on the street. And he did not want that to happen, but he had been he had already committed the the thing that got him expelled in the first place. He hadn't gotten expelled yet though, since he would only be expelled once of his grades dropped too much, and he was instead banished from the dorms, and so he couldn't sleep on school premises. He had to go out into the woods and start camping. He had to construct his own temporary shelter, and it actually like goes pretty in depth into sort of his daily life. He had to use stone tablets and engrave them to write down notes, and training his magic. He could only use two of his magic talent wasn't much. He had two basic magic and he just continuously used it by incorporating it into his daily life, chopping down trees with a wind blade and igniting the fire to cook stuff with ignite. Um, and he became very proficient in those two. I really like this one. Top five for sure. The romance does feel a lot more genuine as well, and it's the art is also incredible. The arcs haven't the, there hasn't been a miss from what I've seen yet. Hasn't been a miss. They've all been good, very good. And we're just going into a new arc now. I think it did come back pretty recently. I'm really excited to see where it goes. It's already starting off strong. I'll say that. Oh, I remember this one. I haven't. I remember reading quite a bit of this one. I don't know what's happened. Maybe it was on hiatus or something. I don't really remember. This is a good one too, though. Demon Prince goes to the Academy. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The novels extra. Now, I won't lie. I haven't been keeping up with this one. I haven't seen it updated recently. I don't know if something happened to it. Hopefully, it didn't get axed. I I really enjoy this one. It's been a long it's one of the first manhwa I've read, so it's been a while since I read it. I don't remember everything too clearly, but it he now I guess it's just the kind of manhwa I'm into. He was, he was brought into another person's body at a school, but this time it was of his own book that was called a failure. He made his own book that nobody really liked because there was a lot of plot holes and inconsistencies within the story, and was like just a not very well made book. And then he eventually had gotten brought into it somehow by someone that called themselves the sub-author. And the sub-author, he would go through it thinking he knew everything, but the sub-author would change things like, this part of the story does this to it and makes it so that this becomes redundant and it ruins the overall quality of the story. So instead, I've done this. And so he doesn't actually know anything that's happening within the story anymore, pretty much. And everything ends up changing um, around him. And it's not a sort of thing as like, oh, well, I do this, butterfly effect, and so now this is happening. His effects really, at the very beginning, they feel like they have no impact. He he's being toyed with by the sub author, I suppose. And it's it does have a sort of I'm just now remembering that this is the only one where I went to read the light novel. I haven't even done that for Pick Me Up. And it has a sub romance, but not a harem. It is a very one person focused thing, or maybe two, I guess. Um, and oh man, it goes real deep into that. Man, this is good. It hasn't. There's one point. I'm talking in circles. There's one point that I read in the light novel that was just like, holy, this is the turning point. This is where it goes. This is where it gets crazy. The climax, so to speak. And the manhwa hasn't quite hit that yet. I don't know. I think it's in season 3, season 4. And I can't quite remember if it was the season where that would happen or the one before it. I don't remember. But man, this one's really good. It's really good. What is this? Freaky looking dude. So yeah, top two recommendations: Pick Me Up and the Novels Extra. Sub recommendation, probably the Academy Extras Survival Guide, and the sashimi one. Sashimi is probably the lowest on my list. I would say though. If you were kind of interested in that sort of premise of sashimi, just read Academy's Extra. It's it I There's more chapters to it, and I feel like it's also doing it better. That's not to say sashimi is bad. It might be like a brain off sort of read. I'm still reading it though. I don't care. Top 10, 20. Let's do 20 instead. How long is this video gonna be? However long I want it to. I guess I shouldn't go to images, huh? It's not really gonna. Wait a minute. I recognize that one. Why do I recognize her? Which one was she from? This one? This was a sort of bullying focused one. Did I see a... What the hell? Never mind, I have no idea what that is. Maybe I read like 2 chapters of it somewhere. It just looked familiar. Yeah, I got lost on that. 20 of the best manhwa. Okay, so just solo leveling. That's a lie. Solo leveling is not the best manhwa. It's just the most popular, famous one, I suppose. True Beauty I never saw. I heard it was like a sort of similar premise to Lookism, except more like a female main character. Goes in depth into self-acceptance, as it says here, and sort of a person who is seen as ugly and then uses a lot of makeup to become beautiful, and that sort of prejudice that society has against ugly people and people that look good sort of having the advantage. Lookism as well goes into that. Um, I think how they differ though is that lookism is more focused on the like he used to be a fat, unattractive kid who then obtained a second body, and he was bullied in that first body of his, and then the second body that's perfect looks, perfect athleticism, perfect everything. It's not deteriorating, um, and it's him seeing that stark contrast between his bullied life and the life where everyone now surrounds him. And then he is still talks. There's one character named Duke that he talks to who was in a very similar situation as his past body. Not past. He uses both bodies. He interchanges between the two. His unattractive body, and it shows like Duke was is getting bullied in the same way, but he keeps trying. His goal is to become a rapper like Eminem. He's trying to become a rapper like Eminem, and that's his lifelong dream. And his name Daniel just really admires him for that. Duke being in the exact same situation that Daniel was in, but continuing to strive to become better and achieve his goals and not letting it bring him down. And he ends up helping him in his more known body. And Duke actually becomes pretty successful. I think he did end up achieving his or is making good steps towards his dream. Now, a lot of you may know about Lookism. It's like 600 chapters in. Now, that main focus of self-acceptance and societal beauty standards, uh, they threw it out the window, and it is now a fighting-based delinquent manhwa, um, which was good up to a point, and now it's just kind of become slop. I'm still reading it because once you're 600 chapters in, there's no point giving up now. Tower of God, haven't seen it. I haven't seen the anime either, but I have heard season 2 is a bit of a letdown. But I also heard that the manhwa was incredibly good. Noblesse, I don't know what this is. I'm gonna be honest with you. Let's look it up. Let's not be Ignorant, noblesse oblige. Whoa, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, I don't know. Not really sure. I mean, it's probably on a webtoon, right? Yeah, it's there. Powerful vampire awakens from an 820-year slumber, enrolls in a high school only to face new threats from mysterious attackers. Action, fantasy, and humor. I'm not really the whole vampire scene. The Breaker. I think I've heard of this one. Haven't read it, but is a fighting delinquent based manga as well, I believe. You can see sort of some of the panels here. Incredible art. Holy. Maybe I gotta read this one. This art looks insane. Freaky ass dude. I'm not too big of a fan of the whole delinquent thing. Only reason why I'm reading Lookism, Lookism dragged me in. It it started delving more into the delinquent fighting, and but was still keeping up that same premise of societal beauty standards, and it kept going with it to an extent, and then it's sort of kind of dropping it off, but the story didn't decline after that. It was still pretty interesting going. It brought interesting characters, then slowly just became an ore farm, and then more characters, but had a very interesting plot. And Daniel was going through it, and it started building up and up and up, and it had this big climax, and it was really good, and it kept climbing, and then and it's been dropping. I won't lie. And I think that's actually from one of the more recent chapters with a gang called Speed. Don't quote me on that. But I believe that might be where it starts. People start saying it's kind of just getting repetitive. I have read this one. I don't really have anything notable to say about it though, honestly. Um, it was it was good, I guess, but just kind of there's been so many other things that's taken the same premise of it that I can't say anything unique about it anymore. It's also been a long time since I've read it, and I've heard the anime was a letdown in animation, which has been happening a lot recently. There's Lookism. I guess True Beauty is ranked above Lookism. I don't know. People say I saw someone say that Lookism was better than True Beauty, but True Beauty might focus more on that base concept of self-acceptance. I don't know. Maybe I'll read it. Omniscient Reader. Everyone knows it's one. It's incredibly good. Please read it. If you're like, oh man, I want to start reading manhwa, read this one. No brainer. Sweet Home. I do know what this is. I know it had a live action show, I want to say. I think I did read a little bit of the manhwa, but I didn't quite get too into it. But it is really good. Really, really good. Uh, Cheese in the Trap. That's the first, I think, really romance based one. Now I'm interested. Cheese in a Trap. Oh, 2016 TV show, 2 seasons. Look at that. Means it's got to be a hit, right? Why does he look like a creep in that one? He looks like a stalker. Is that just me? Maybe it's just me. I'm assuming it's a female lead in this one. What it looks like. He seems to be the main male lead. Maybe it's spoiling that this guy ends up getting cut off. Man, drama, bro. Drama, drama. I'm not gonna go and say it's like, oh, it's romance, it's trash. Everyone's got their own taste. It is the, highest ranked. Oh, something happened, bro. See, now I'm interested. What the hell happened to him? He's gone down a dark path. Did he want the girl too? Oh my gosh. They be scrapping like that in here? Maybe. Maybe I'll read Cheese in a Trap and make a video on it. I'll remember that one. I'll remember that one. A realistic romance, complexities of relationships and social dynamics in a college life. Series is known for its relatable characters and nuanced storytelling. Is there a comment? No, I think it's just a link. What? Why? Okay, hold on. And it's ended up at the Duke's mansion. Fantasy romance is not my style. I'll say that. The romance genre, there are a couple I have watched and read, but the fantasy romance genre, I have not stepped a foot into. Besides the Academy's Extra. That's just peak. Um, none of this really draws me in either. I don't really know. Cheese in a Trap looked a lot more interesting. I feel like romance needs that realism knitted into it, you know? I when I do read romance, I read the more realistic setting, sort of like Cheese in a Trap. I'm gonna read that one, I think. Who made me a princess? Who made me a princess? Interesting. What? What the hell? No, 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 no. All right. I. What the hell? I don't like this one. That just looks like a kid. Are they all kids? I don't know. I'm gonna move on from that one. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not gonna say anything about it. Maybe it's one of those things you gotta read first, but I think a lot of these top manhwa are uh, mainly like female-focused audiences. It seems. Webtoon, especially being drawn into that sort of thing, being a mainly female romance audience genre. Genre? I don't quite know what I'm talking about anymore. Now, I'm a guy. It's kind of, especially with that other one, it's kind of awkward seeing what is it called, like a reverse harem, where it's one girl and a bunch of guys. Now, it's not one of those things like, oh, this is weird. I mean, it's weird for me. It's just kind of, I can't really get into the character's like point of view, I guess. I'm just kind of lost. Uh, okay, an interesting idea, I guess, to be a dog. Has a real life. How do they do that? Wow, she's got dog ears. Behind the scenes? How many seasons does it have? Just one. Oh, very recently though. Is this a new one? This might be relatively new. Oh, this one is like just. I think the live action of this one is a lot more popular, it seems like. Or maybe just because it's fresh on people's minds. I don't really know. This one seems interesting though. I thought there'd be more pictures or like images of a dog. I guess that's not actually the focus. Pretty interesting. My dear cold-blooded. Oh wait. Yeah. Historical romance filled with intrigue and mystery as a young woman becomes entangled with a powerful king. The series is praised for its art and captivating plot. My dear beloved cold king. King, right? King. That looked like fan art. Oh no. Okay. This is a more unique drawing. It looks like it's more similar to manga in which it's drawn by just a single person. That's not me saying it's bad or anything. Um, but drawing by a single person, it's done in manga because there's not you don't color in manga. It takes a lot less time. Manhwa it takes more time with the coloring. And you could see here it's a lot less detailed, but it's still good. A lot of these side shots, front shot. This seems like a Murem setting. It looks like there's a lot of. shots of their faces. It's kind of hard to get a general story with this. Mirim, I'm not too interested either. Even action-based ones, I can't really get into. I don't know. Something about it. Maybe just it's too complicated for me. I don't know. The villainess reverses the hourglass. Actually reminds me of oh, that's a dark time right there. I remember when I used to watch Gacha Life videos when I was in what, 6th grade? Yikes. That was the peak of my boredom. Oh, this one gets crazy, huh? Are these two different characters? It seems there's a very okay. They are. They're both blonde though, siblings. Looks like it. Just kind of confused on if they were different or not. Very focused on. Actually, it's kind of hard to tell who the main character is. I'd assume though. Oh, but it's the villain. Okay, this one does sound a bit interesting actually, because this seems like the nice mannered one. This one's like the oh, play with people's emotions to get them what I want. But looking like a bit of a villain in here, and that one too. And she looks a lot nicer in that one. Crying. This seems to be a lot more focused on their relationship as siblings, does it not? Gets a second chance at life and uses her knowledge of the future to change her fate. Mono is popular for its clever plot and character development. Interesting. Is it not a romance? And on the cover here, it does have the two guys, but they're just, you don't really see them a whole lot. I think it might be a subgenre of romance, maybe? It's kind of hard to tell. Man, we've really diverged from Steel Ball Run, huh? I love you, Mono. Hold on. What was that? I love PDF to... Weird. Now, what is this one? This one seems to have a similar vibe to Cheese in a Trap. It's got some fan art there. That looks like fan art. That looks like it might be fan art too. It's kind of hard to tell on that one. Oh, he's looking a bit evil, but it seems like he might be the first one that really scored there. He's the first. He's the first goal. Oh, nah, he's definitely evil. Just look at. Wait, these two different people? Is it a sibling type thing? Evil sibling? I'm lost. Who the heck is this guy then? This guy evil? Two evil? Okay, well, who's this? Another sibling? This guy's male lead now. I can see that for sure. Who is this? The hair is parted differently. The hair just in general vibe of the face just doesn't quite match on these two. Oh man, that one maybe he's just got a much different. Ah no, but this one there he's got the hair parted. Did he change? Time skip? Oh no, he's evil. No, the hair's not parted and he's still evil as hell. Wow, look at that 3 a.m. guys. You can tell I'm bored. I won't lie, this one's got me intrigued as well. Not as much as Cheese in a Trap though. I think Cheese in a Trap has captured me a bit more. This one did. This one I'm very interested in as well though. Loses mind being in the friend zone. Is that Theater? That is not the same art style. Doing fan art. Lots of fan art. That's fan art too. I can tell. Fan art. Yep. Not fan art. Not fan art. This is a clean. What is this? It's kind of odd. It seems like he might have some sort of redemption. Maybe. There was a glitch. Oh, they're pissed. Looks like the same sort of prevalence as Cheese in a Trap. Can't tell you which is better. Haven't read either. Through the eyes of a girl who has sworn off romance. Mm, that's the difference there. That's the difference. Oh, age differences in a relationship. Age matters. Model. Model was. Next. Manhwas do tend to be more focused on a more younger audience, I suppose. So it's kind of interesting to have an older lead. Um, I'm not into these. These are the sort of ones I'm not into. The ones where it's just kind of like a one-on-one, just daily life. Eh, not my style. Am I lying? There's one. My bias gets on the last train. Haven't kept up with this one. I'll say that now. I've read quite a bit of it. It is very good. You should read it. Um, it is sort of a one-on-one. There's no really interfering people, but I do still really like it because the whole thing is that this guy, he's a real music guy, and he's found this person, his favorite artist that he listens to. And he'll have like watch parties when they release new songs. He's very passionate about talking about the artist, but the artist keeps himself pretty closed off. And so, he doesn't really know who it is. Turns out it's this person right here, who he's been sneaking glances at before he gets on the train. He's like, oh, she looks cute. And then it turns out that she's actually the person making the songs. But I've been reading it, haven't kept up. Chapter over 100, I believe, and he still doesn't know. But it's still going through that romance anyway, that of like him developing feelings for her, even though he still has had no idea. It's still going in, like she doesn't want to tell him that it's her, even though she's like been to watch parties for her own songs, because it's like if I tell him that it's me, he won't give me that honest, genuine reaction to my music. And I think that can be the same said about the same way about their love. How could she know if he's really into her if she's just his favorite artist, you know? That's that's good stuff. That's good stuff right there. That's good writing. Read this one too. If you're into romance and haven't seen it, give that one a read. Yeah, really diverse. Apparently, I was just lying when I'm not into about not being into romance. Apparently, the King's Affection. Man, all of the ones I brought up at the start on are on here. This sucks. People don't rock with it. Are my takes trash? This one's a very arrow focused one. It's okay. Well, I don't want to say that and get my cultures wrong, but this does look like a more. No, no, no. This is a Korean style clothing. That hat. That's a Korean hat. This is a old, like, an old Korean romance one. It seems to have had its live action one blow up a lot more. Here's sort of the manhwa version of it here. It looks like a pretty old manhwa. This is very old drawing techniques. And here's a bunch of random romances. I don't. I already know I probably wouldn't be interested in that one just off that cover. I'm not quite a huge fan of this art style. I don't really like it when the male leads just look like just these super disinterested, bored, just my only goal is to seduce you type thing, you know? Not quite my style. Not quite my tempo. Well, do I got anything else? Honestly, that might be about it. I already went through this top 20. This is kind of uh, oh, this was kind of the last thing I had in mind. Um, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Do I make this like a 10-hour video? I mean, I guess this could just be a video you just put in the bag and listen to. I don't know if people would like that or not. I know that last Minecraft video I made that was an hour long. Didn't do quite good. Posting a video that long focused on just Minecraft gameplay with no editing, especially when the Minecraft scene is sort of dominated by very well edited videos. Um, it's not really gonna land. I think doing something like this might be better. So You guys can let me know. I'll probably make more videos about me yapping about stuff. I know I will, even though I usually end up lying about what videos I do next. I probably would eventually make a video about me yapping about something. So if you do got something you want me to talk about, I'll talk about pretty much anything. I don't care. If somebody wants to see it, I'll talk about it. Oh, I don't like the coloring in this. um, uh, okay, I'm assuming it's probably fine, right? This is an okay site. I don't know, bro. Okay, let's look at this. Now I'm interested. S rank the absolute best. Must reads that excel in key areas. A rank excellent series. B rank solid and enjoyable. C rank mid range. Has strength but also weaknesses. D rank below average, often generic. E rank weak, hard to recommend. Hurt my soul. Series with great initial promise, but dropped the ball hard. Okay, see it. S rank pinnacle. Solo leveling. I can't. I don't think I'd give it S. I'd I'd give it A. It's it's a series you'd read and enjoy a lot. It's a very enjoyable series, which is what, stories are supposed to be. You're supposed to have fun reading them. So hey, what the heck? Just give it S then. If you have fun reading it, then it's S. It's your premise. Who cares about it's like, oh, the narrative this, narrative that? If you had the most fun reading it than any other one, then it's an S to you. And that's your preference? I don't know. Legend of the Northern Blade. Wait, isn't that a manga? Wait a minute. Is that? Am I thinking about this wrong? I'm not gonna go through all 100 of these. Yeah, I guess it's a Murum. I guess that's why I haven't heard of it. I'll just kind of skim through. Windbreaker. I didn't know that was a manhwa. Wow. The Breaker. I think I'm probably gonna read that. Uh, oh wow. Really put it in both here, huh? Really like this one. Um. Oh, there's multiple. I see. Omniscient Readers. S tier. No question. Um. Bastard. I haven't read it. I haven't read that one. Chinese manhwa. I have read a couple Chinese manhwa. I just don't really have access to them. I suppose. I don't really know. A rank. Mercenary Enrollment. This one's also really good. I think it's one of the more popular ones on Webtoon. One of the more like popular action ones. It's a very good. Return of the Blossoming Blade. I think I read a little bit of that one, but again, Murum's not quite my style. But it was good from what I saw. Magic Emperor. I the hook of Magic Emperor, it couldn't draw me in. It's kind of hard for me to keep reading something if I was never interested in the first place. But it does have a lot of chapters, and as you can see here, they gave it A rank despite like 600 or maybe 1,000 chapters. I know it has a lot. Tower of God, sure. Haven't seen it still, but I have heard great things about it. Great Mage that returns. Do I know what this is? I think I know one with a general. With a no, I've seen it. I haven't read it. I know what it is. Don't know anything about it. Chronicles of Heaven the Dune, Tales of Dunes the Gods. I've seen that one as well. Very similar sort of thing to Magic Emperor, I guess. A lot of chapters again. Infinite Level Up in Rome. I think I haven't seen Leviathan. I couldn't get into. It's the same thing with that sort of hook. I don't know if that's a bad thing or not. My bad, guys. Leveling with the Gods, Doctor's Rebirth, Peerless Dad. I don't know any of those. You can look into those maybe. Let me know. Barbarian. They have this in B? I know I said bad things, but I didn't even say bad things about it, did I? Like the end of it with the whole it sort of shifting to romance. The romance part of it that it shifted to was written very, very well. It's like it shifted in genre is just kind of what threw me off. But the writing didn't fall off at all. It was written very well all the way through. I don't think it's finished, but and I don't know what the more recent ones are, but Kill the Hero. Hold on, sorry guys. Let me I know what it is. I think this is a necromancer based one. I couldn't get into it. That's my goat right there. Kill the hero. That's not kill the hero. I'm just lying to people now. Cleric that can't level up. That one is a fun read. Overgeared's a fun read. There's a lot of chapters to it too. It's a pretty early on manhwa. And a lot of people talk about it, it's like, oh, what manhwa did you enjoy? Oh, so, yo, I remember Overgeared. That was a good one. Same with the SSS class. So I'll just say suicide, bro. Can I say that in a video? Is that okay to say in a video? I do not condone that action at all. I'll say that now. I do not condone any action of suicide. You should never do anything about it. This is strictly limited in a story where the person doing it had no intention of dying in the first place. It was a, you know, did I explain that well? Sorry. Your talent is mine. Let's see this. Your talent is mine. Oh, this one. I read a couple chapters on this one. That's what he looks like. Guess it was a time skip. The hook didn't draw me in. That's just kind of how. Oh wow, that's just Sung Jin Woo. Um. Ooh, I remember that one. That's a good one too. That's not your talent is mine. We're just lying to people now, but that's a good one. Maybe it'll show up in here and I'll remember it because I don't remember the name. Um, the S classes that I raised. Yeah, that's a good one too. I haven't kept up with it recently. I kind of stopped reading it quite a while ago, but it is a good one. I don't know that one. I don't know that one. Manager Kim is good. I've been reading it. Lightning Degree. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Lord's coins aren't decreasing. I've heard of this one. Was this a romance-based one? No, it's not. What the hell? What is this? I think I've seen like the cover of it. Just haven't read it. I, I don't think I've heard good things about that one though. I don't know. Maybe I'll read a couple chapters and see what I think. Bro Login, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't quite attracted to the premise of Jungle Juice, so I wasn't really able to keep going in it. But I have heard it's a pretty popular one. Gotcha, Hunter. Now, I don't know what his picture is doing in C tier. If they put this in C tier, they have lost their minds. Oh dear Lord. Oh, how did you put that in C? This is like at minimum A. The boxer? Do I even have to explain? How is everyone's read this at this point? Everyone who's read a manhwa has probably read the boxer. If you haven't read a manhwa, then it's understandable. I'm not gonna say it's like if you haven't read this, you're stupid or something. Very good. Storytelling itself isn't exceptional. It had a unique form of storytelling, I think I'd say. It wasn't very linear. It has this main character, but this main character was um, sort of like also the villain at the same time. It would show other people's stories and how, at the end of the day, this was the villain that they couldn't beat. Even though it's hard to explain, you just have to read it for yourself. It's something that I think a lot of people would enjoy. Now, if you're a sort of like mainly focused on romance, then maybe not. Um, yeah, I can start to see why some people may think it's C tier. I think it's a very, if you like action, you probably like it, but it's not very deep into action either. It's really hard to explain. Solo max level newbie. Do I know this one? Oh, this one. This one's good. I don't know why it's in C tier. I think this one's really good. Obviously, purple and the like it looks like a Sung Jin Woo clone. I don't think he's ever used necromancy though, but he does have no. He has a very different personality as Sung Jin Woo as well. I think. He's a lot more cocky and arrogant about it. Um, this is a good one though. I don't know why it's in C. It's like B tier minimum. Um, Skeleton MC just doesn't work for me personally. Fights are good. Oh, so I see. So this was done by one person. I couldn't get into that one either. Skeleton Soldier couldn't protect a dungeon. Very good storytelling, I think. Not quite my premise I'm into. Not quite my tempo. I might have to agree with this person. I wouldn't say it's C tier in quality. That's ridiculous. It's just in terms of how much I enjoyed it, that this it would be in C tier. Boxer's an A. Boxer's an S. Screw that. Return of the Frozen Player. I've read a little bit of that. It's okay. This one's pretty good. Um, I do agree, probably nothing special yet, but it hasn't fallen off, I don't think. Transmigrated 66. Yeah, this one's good too. Pacing is slow. I agree with that one. I don't think that's crazy enough to put it down here though. But it is also a relatively basic sort of storytelling. We'll see some of the ones they think are bad. Okay. I kind of recognize some of these. I might agree with this one. This one might have fallen off a little bit. I don't know about this one. I couldn't get into this one, but I don't know how good it was. Whoa, 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 whoa. How to fight? No way. Wow, they put this one in D tier. Um, I don't think it's D tier. Now, this one, if you don't know, made by the same creators of Lookism. Um, and it isn't delinquent fighting. It is a very fighting based one, but it's basically the main character that ends up starting a YouTube channel because he really needs the money for I don't remember. I think he was like his mother in the hospital, something like that, or maybe he lives alone. I don't remember. And he starts a YouTube channel after he finds a dude whose videos have never been seen before teaching how to fight. And it actually goes pretty in depth into fighting techniques and tactics to go against them. Now, if you wanted to read this and all of a sudden think that you could fight a professional boxer, um, I think you've lost your mind. But it's enjoyable nonetheless. I don't know why it's in D. Probably B, in my opinion. Um, mm, okay. I don't really recognize many of these. Emperor of Solo Play. I feel like I recognize that one. Emperor. Ooh, I did not spell it right. Emperor. Ooh, I don't know. Ooh, of Solo Play. Oh, this one. I read 2 chapters and dropped it, I think. I might have to agree with these guys. Nothing is great. Yikes. Subjectively fun scenarios. Hurt my soul. Great promise. Big letdown. Oh, so it's like, oh yeah, Heroes Returned. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Arcane Sniper, maybe. I don't think I really read that one too deep, and I don't know the rest of these. Okay, well, see, that was I was interested in reading that. Man, hold on. Maybe I'll do that again. Maybe I'll find another one. Top 30 best manhwa ever. Bold claim, bold claim. Oh, this is by a lot, though. Sweet Home, okay. What? I don't know what this is. Become the most powerful human alive. Tomb Raider King has unique lore. Oh, is it just Tomb Raider King? Okay. Um, I have never heard of this one before. Is it like a sleeper pick or what? I'm not really sure. Maybe I'll look into it. I'll see if it catches my eye. We'll see. Is an action-fueled moral pondering. Okay. It it makes me think this isn't the entire thing. I think it's just terror, man. Unfortunate twice stop misfortune. This leads him to become a terrorist. Not too interested in that one. Light and Shadow. Okay, looks like a romance fantasy one. Uh, Bit of a suggestive picture there. Steamy workplace. Not quite my tempo then. Ooh. Okay. The name of this is this at the end. What? Attorney's Magic should be special. I did read quite a bit of this. It is good. Um, it, I think pacing maybe wasn't quite something I was able to keep up with. But it is good quality nonetheless. Spirit Fingers. Never heard of this one before. Insecure girl, truly below. Okay. So lives to envy others' beauty. Oh, okay. So it's similar like True Beauty, I think. Funnily enough, experience pushes him to come out of her shell, join a cool kids art club, and soon learn to love herself even more than she could ever imagine with the help of her new friends. Sounds cool. It's a slice of life. Yeah, sounds, I mean, kind of guessed. I think that looks like a Muram based one. Muram romance, not interested. I'm sorry I never brought this one up. I don't, do I? If you haven't read this, please read it. Probably the best comedy manhwa out there. Um, and even despite being the best comedy, it still gets like really deep in the storytelling and it gets pretty dark and sometimes too. And the character also has like very good growth. Side characters are phenomenal. Um, the arcs in it, they didn't miss a beat. And the main character not even being this super strong guy, the main thing he does is architecture, and yet he's still like, holy, this one's really good. Rate rated this low is diabolical. Is it a sleeper pick? Do people not know about this one? It's so good. Please read it. Please read it if you haven't. No Home. I don't know this one. Confirms prologue mother. Homeless violent child. Let's see. Oh, I read a couple chapters of that one. I couldn't quite get hooked. Magic to tell a story. Okay. I guess you could pause there and read that. You could pause on any of them if you want to. It doesn't really matter. The Breaker, New Waves. The Breaker, New Waves still captivates readers. Now I just have to read it, right? I mean, come on. Uh, yep, got to high school. I think I read the manhwa. I can't remember. It was good though. I don't think I read a lot of it, but it was good. Slice of Life. Okay. Seasons of Blossom. Yeah, there's that one. There's Legend of Northern Blade. I already saw that one. Tower of God 13. Eliseed, I tried reading like five. I know people really like it, but it didn't quite captivate me. Oh, The Breaker and The Breaker New Waves. There's a lot, huh? Okay. Isekai. What? I don't think these guys know what they're talking about. Number 10 is criminally low. I don't know how I... Oh, but they put Boxer really high. They might have just redeemed themselves. Above Omniscient Reader, I don't know about that one, but a top 10, we may be onto something. Um, that's just maybe early on in Lookism, yeah, I'd say so. And really, Lookism only starts really falling off in the late half of it, I think. You could still read a good 400 chapters, get that real good chunk of it, that real captivating part. Haven't quite read that one. It seems pretty highly regarded though. I don't really care. I'll be real. Windbreaker. Windbreaker. Windbreaker Breaker? Hmm. Okay. Biking talents. Wait, what? I thought this was a fighting one. Did I just completely misjudge this? Tracing art from other artists. Oh. Oh. I see. Okay. Yikes. No Bliss. That's that vampire one. Ranked pretty high, it seems like. The Horizon? Interesting. Similar to Studio Ghibli's Grave of Fireflies. Oh. Whale Star. Beautiful retelling of The Little Mermaid. Oh. They're okay, whatever. They're no, okay, I'm sorry. This isn't me like I don't hate solo leveling. It's just it does get annoying sometimes seeing it at number one, especially seeing these like just like oh man, I've never heard of this one before. These real picks that nobody's really seen of, you know, really chosen just for their quality of storytelling. It's really interesting, and then they just put solo leveling on top anyway. I was hoping it'd be different, but it's fine. I'll do one more. You see, it's about to hit. Can you see? Does that show on the street? Yeah, it shows in the video. It's about to hit 4 a.m. Yikes. Sorry. Yeah, I know. A bit of a no life right now. I've been a bit depressed recently, yeah. So I definitely take no blame to anything because I'm depressed. That's how that works, guys. Top manga? That's top manga though. Oh, top manga, top manhwa. Oh my! What did I? What is this? That might have done something. Yikes! Look at that. What did I tell you? The greatest estate developer is phenomenal. Phenomenal. This one, boom, banger. I know people call this one a banger. I haven't seen it yet. Uh, that one was in like number three. Boom, banger. Yeah, this one's good. Makes sense. Um, oh, I remember this one. Kind of fell off a bit. I won't lie. I got a bit. It got a bit repetitive, I suppose. It's good though. It's good. I'm not saying it's not. It's good. Boom. Look at that. Phenomenal. This one's really good, dude. Didn't mention it. Very good read. It goes really deep into like having no talent, being a pure hard worker. You know, it really shows that sort of adversity that not many other ones show. Um, maybe I do gotta read this one. Bastard, the Breaker. It's too low, man. It's so much better than this. It needs more. It's still building up. Nah, is it? Maybe. Yeah. It's really good though. Phew, please read this one. Um, that makes sense. That makes sense. The breaker new waves is below the breaker. I don't know if that's because it's like, well, it's not that much below. It's pretty negligible. Uh, phenomenal. I'm trying to see the ones I recognize. This one's good. Oh, there it is. Phenomenal, bro. What did I tell y'all? I know what I'm talking about. Chasing a Trap season 4. Uh, so it got better over time. Whoa, look at that. It got better. It had an increase. Trapped. Haven't heard of it. That's a good one. Didn't quite read a whole lot of it, but that's good. Um, this one, I did see stuff about that one where they the author had a point where they wanted to stop, but it had gotten so popular that he was kind of forced by his publishers to continue writing a story he didn't want to write. Um, but I think even despite that, it's still doing pretty well. It is a Muram-based one again, but it has aspects of sci-fi in it, which was what was really interesting about it. Probably the most I've read out of any Muram-based one, but I did end up dropping it eventually. Let's see what else. Season of Trap Season 2. Grismer's, this is a very good one, a very Ore Farm based one, I will say, but it is a very good medieval one that goes very deep into sort of like military tactics or medieval tactics and all that, and strategies to win wars and things like that. It's very good. Oh, what did I tell y'all? What did I tell y'all? I know what I'm talking about. There it is. Phenomenal. Um, oh, this is a really good one. Absolutely insane. So, they do side characters in this very, very, very well. Phenomenal. How did I not mention this one either? Phenomenal. Criminally underrated. This should be like an 8.5. Really good. Very tactical, like sort of fighting based thing. You really it really goes deep into thoughts like strategies, uh, how to win and all that. In the power system as well, and the sort of premise, the setting is all very, very creative. Really love that one. Man, there's just so many I forgot. I just read a lot, I guess. There's Cheese and Trap Season 1. The lowest rated one. Only at a 7.95. Wow. I just have to, huh? His look is probably had a bit of a tanking afterwards. Weak Hero is phenomenal. It did finish. Phenomenal though, nonetheless. Read it all the way through, please. It's peak from beginning to end. I don't know why it's rated so low. That's a good one. Didn't quite read a whole lot of it. That's a good one. Good one right there. Um, I read a little bit of that. It's a good one. That one's in. This one is actually in the same universe as uh, the number one spot, the Architect one. I think this one's good as well. It's I guess a sort of prequel, but doesn't tie directly into it, but still builds off of that. Like this story in the Architect one was just kind of a reference. Um, and I don't know how good it is, but this is pretty good rating. So I mean, same author, it's got to be good. No way, it's not. Um, hmm, that's a good one. This one has a very in-depth magic system, I think, that is explored incredibly well. Starting to recognize list these. Oh, there's that one. That's a good one. Might have fallen off a bit recently. I think I kind of just got a bit repetitive when I was reading it. I don't know. This is a good one. Needs a bit more build up though. It has a lot of chapters though already. I don't know why still keep saying it's building up. It just seems like it'll be a really long story. That's a good one. It's been on hiatus for a while now. Hopefully it didn't get axed. That's a good one though. Think I reread this one like twice too up to current. Very good. Very, very good. Probably one of the best. I wouldn't say isekai because it's the same world, just different body. Best reincarnated medieval fantasy in my opinion. Uh, Fight Class 3 I've heard good things about, but I haven't gotten into. This one really good. The start of it phenomenal. Uh, I think kind of just it went on hiatus, and so I haven't caught up to it yet. Phenomenal though, really really good. Um, it's one of the only like real sci-fi manhwa out there, and it does it incredibly well, especially in the beginning. It has a very very strong start to it. If you like sci-fi, this is the manhwa you gotta look at. That one's really good. Oh, this one's really good too. Don't sleep on this one. Don't sleep on this one. Very, very good. I'm not gonna. I'm kind of hoping to end this soon, so I'm not gonna go too deep into what it is. 100th progression, very good. Um, this one's good. Very, very good. I love this one. I really love this one. It's a very comedy-based one as well. Um, really good. It's enjoyable. There it is. Only 227. They just haven't seen it yet. It hasn't gotten to that climax yet. Once they hit that climax, people are gonna know. Just you wait. I'm telling you. People will know. Or maybe they already know and I'm just stupid. I don't know. Very good one. Oh, sorry. Very unique premise to it too. Really good. Oh man. Apparently I'm just burping for some reason. Man, I guess I just keep going until I see a whole page that I don't recognize. That's a good one. I think it's been on hiatus for a while, but good one. This one's good. Oh, this one, this one's building up. It's only got like 17, maybe 20 chapters out right now. It's already, it's already got a really good start. Tap into this one while you can. Patron of Villains, please do. Very good. Uh, d- 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 Oh, this might be the one here. I might not see any stand out ones I have opinions about here. Oh, never mind. That's a good one right there. Very wholesome. Probably one of the only actual wholesome ones I've read. It also has very good character development in it as well. Don't let that fool you. It's a sort of slice of life. I'd say it's a slice of life. It's very interesting. It's a good one. Um, that's a good one, but I couldn't quite get hooked onto it. It's good. It's good though. Ooh, this one's good. Really like this one. Again, I covered it. Oh, this one though. I'm still keeping up with this one. Whew. It's man. It really is this academy stuff, isn't it? I'm just a sucker for these apparently. Really good though. I'm enjoying it right now. Came out with a chapter like new chapter 2 days ago maybe. I see the vision. I'm excited. It's in a sort of build up right now though. I have read this one. It does. It is. Oh, it's finished. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't finish it. From what it is good though. It's a revenge based story. It doesn't go. I don't. i- It's a sort of revenge based story where he realizes that I'm not supposed to get it. No, I have to. He realizes sort of like, oh, these guys that I got my revenge on were just like the very small part of it. There's a bigger force I need to take down. And it's not just fighting either. It has a lot of like sort of business stuff in it as well. Pretty good. This is a good one as well. Pretty entertaining. This is a good one. Get Schooled. Really like that one. Uh, okay. Here, if we just end up getting to 500, I'm stopping there. I'm not going below 500. I might end up stopping here though. This is a good one. Never mind. Demon King overrun by heroes. I do like this one. It's very good. I killed the main player. Honestly, I don't know which came first, but this one just feels the premise is super, super similar to the Academy's Extra, and like even the first heroine that you meet is incredibly similar to the first heroine in the Academy's Extra. Even like the story beats for that character as well are very similar. But the Academy's Extra does it better, I will say. The Academy's Extra also has a way, way better main character. You feel a lot more involved with him. I don't particularly like the main character in here. I'm not saying that this one ripped off Academy's Extra. I'm just saying like they're incredibly similar, and the better of the two is Academy's Extra. This is a good one, pretty entertaining comedy-based one. It's pretty funny. I reread it and got up to current. I don't know if it's on hiatus or not. Can't remember. Stopped reading it though, not too long ago, but it's a good one. Reality Quest, that's a good one. I haven't read it in a while, but I do remember enjoying that one. Um, man, I know a lot of these, huh? I didn't think I'd know this many. It's a good one. I just haven't read a lot of it. Uh, oh, here it is. 494. Sashimi Swordmaster. I told you it was lowest on my list. And it's lowest on here, too. I'm pretty accurate. What did I say? Stupid Funko Pop is appearing on my screen. 14.99. Would you look at that? 14.99, guys. You get whatever the hell that is. All right. Well, let's close this off on where we started, I guess. Well, I'm gonna end it there, guys. Pretty long yap session. Um, I honestly just might keep making yap sessions even if they don't do good. I've been on a bit of like a, I haven't, it's kind of depressing to say so. I haven't talked to people recently. Like I haven't, I did move recently, so I haven't talked really to my friends, back where I was. So I've definitely been pretty lonely. So I might just make more videos of me just yapping to the mic about what I've been into recently. probably not gonna do a whole lot of gameplay right now because, like I said, my computer's kind of not doing well. I think I gotta buy new like fans for it. I didn't clean the fans very well. I had to should have done better with that. But yeah, make sure to like the video if you did enjoy. If you somehow sticked around this long, just enjoy. I do know there is a section of people who just like listening to people yap. I don't know if you'd enjoy this or not. But yeah, just leave a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment too if you want. You know, if you want me to maybe make a review on one of those manhwa I was talking about. Or maybe even manga, maybe even comic. I don't really care. I don't really care. I'll talk about anything you tell me to. And then some. Yeah, subscribe as well if you want to see more. Ring that bell. I remember Dan TDM saying that. Wow. Man, that was whew, ring that bell and then that little ding ding would pop up. Holy, that's way back then. Even though it's like 5 years. No, no, more than 5 years, right? Who knows? Well, yeah, I guess I'll see you guys whenever the next one is. Whenever I feel like yapping. See ya.